Stay where you are. I always say, watch out for the little dogs. One's coming up next.
Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer with over 20 years experience training dogs and people. If you've got a doggy dilemma, Denise can help.
Welcome to another episode of Doggy Dilemmas. I'm Denise Mazzola. Today we're going to meet Lilly, a 5.5-year-old dachshund, 25 pounds of terror. She's got quite a laundry list of issues, so let's go in and meet Lilly and Lois. Oh my goodness. Good morning, Lois. How are you?
I'm just great.
Good. So I'm happy to be back with Lilly, 5.5-year-old dachshund. Tell me, again, let's outline all of her issues and then prioritize, or if you can prioritize them, that would be great.
Okay. Primarily, the longest standing issue is a discomfort around people coming to the house that she doesn't know, around folks that she doesn't know, trying to be too friendly. And the more they pursue being friendly and keep trying and then start kneeling down and getting, she will actually go in, she sounds like a baby, screaming.
Okay.
Just howls and screams. Then she'll usually back off and run behind me and look through my legs, which is kind of why I think that, she's afraid. Her other issues is her behavior with the cat. They seem to get along okay, and I did speak to the vet about it and explained what was going on, and they indicated that they felt they were, enjoying each other, just playing and so on and so forth. But when the cat tries to approach me, and Lilly will not have any of it, and she gets very aggressive and runs him off or actually starts to sound angry about it. It's not a playful kind of thing.
Okay, and that only happens when you're on the couch and she's with you.
No, if the cat comes up, say she's over here someplace, and she sees the cat approaching me, she'll run to keep him away.
The cat's not around now, but would this sort of situation bring that out in Lilly as well?
If the cat came up, she very likely would try to make him go away.
Okay. So some resource guarding. And how about walking? Is that the third?
Walking, when we walk with other dogs, some dogs she gets along with fine, there's no difficulty. And then certain other dogs she just will not tolerate, and she barks and will get into her howling and pulling, trying to get at them even.
Okay.
But I never let her get close enough, so I don't know what she'd do if she did get at them. And she seems to be fine. I'm trying to think. With large dogs, most of the large dogs that she's been around, she seems to be fine. With smaller dogs, she seems to be more excited by, and there are some that will always excite her. There's no question. They're just nemesis. They just
never to get along. Okay. Tell me a little bit about Lily's history. Did you get her as a puppy? Where did she come from?
Okay, Lilly was raised by a woman I worked with who also has had two long-haired piebald dachshunds, the male and the female, and they had two litters together, and Lilly was in the first litter. And there were like 8 puppies in the litter, and Lilly was the smallest. She wasn't too small or anything, but of all the dogs, she was the smallest. And
So you've had her since she was a puppy.
I've known her practically since birth because Christy, who's the lady that I worked with, would bring Lily and the litters into work.
Nice. That's therapeutic.
And then everybody would get to pet them and hold them. And of course, they were cute little things. And more than one person actually bought one of the dogs. And what I have heard is that some of them have this type of acting out, and some of them no problem whatsoever.
Okay. Do you remember anything about mom and dad of Lily? Were either of them nervous?
I've met them, but I didn't really know them. And Mom died a couple years ago unexpectedly, and they don't exactly know why. Okay. But Dad's still with the same
So when you
owners.
went to their house, when both the adult dogs were living, did either of those dogs exhibit anything like what you see in Lily?
No, but they were in kennels.
Okay, so they weren't out
They weren't
free
out
in the house.
No.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting too. Okay, so she came home at what age?
Just about as soon as she could, probably between 6 and 8 weeks.
Okay. Okay. And then any classes? What did you do with her as a puppy?
Nothing? No.
Oh, that's an honest answer.
I didn't take her into any classes or anything like
that's
that.
fine.
She didn't present me with any problems, and this has come on more, I say recently, but I don't recall her exhibiting these behaviors prior to several years ago.
Okay.
And I used to take her to work.
Let's put an age. That's right. You said that to me. Okay, so she went to work as a puppy.
She went to work as a puppy until, trying to think, I never took her after I got this. Okay. Puppy.
Approximately. She was 1, she was 2?
1 to 2, yeah.
Okay. So let me just be clear. That is doing something with her. Just because you didn't do classes, that's okay. That taking a puppy to work, that's great socialization for her to be with people and in your office. Okay. Do you remember anything remarkable ever happening in your office? Did she bark in your office? Was she
No, I don't recall any of
content?
that.
Slept in a bed?
Seemed content. More than taking her to the office, I guess I would say, as I think about it, I took her to office events and picnics, lots of people around. She was comfortable with folks. You know, she wasn't like running up and wanting to jump in their laps or anything, but she could move around my coworkers, you know, comfortably and freely. Okay. And let others take her on the leash and that kind of thing.
Okay. And then the policy or something changed at work, so she was
That
no
was more
longer...
recently, and that wasn't why I stopped taking her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was the reason to not take her to work anything to do with her behavior or something completely?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and do you take her places now? I mean, besides going for your walks, are there any homes that you visit where she goes?
No, not really. If I'm like going to a friend's house for an evening, I don't usually take her. My neighbor, she comes here and we walk with her dog.
That's the Greyhound.
Greyhound.
Okay.
And the Greyhound has only come to us very recently. She just got her within the last, say, 6 months. And Lily and the Greyhound get along fine. And the Greyhound doesn't come into this house because my neighbor is kind of concerned about how she'll respond to the cat because of her history and things like that.
Some Greyhounds are cat safe and some are not.
And we're going to see how that works because I'd be more than happy to have her come here kind of thing and that kind of thing. Lily has been in her house, but only very recently. Okay. But she was fine. She didn't do anything she wasn't supposed to, like she's doing now.
Investigating. There's a lot of good things in that bag.
Are there good things, Lil?
Since you're poking along.
What do you think?
Okay.
She says, those aren't bad.
And when you travel, does she go with you?
When I travel in the car, yeah, often, and I take her
other, like if you travel away, does she go with you? Does she stay?
Actually, I don't go away,
Okay.
any distance.
Okay.
Um,
So she doesn't had experience to be in a boarding kennel, or
she's never been in a kennel, no.
okay. Lily, Lily. Oh, she likes those.
She says, I like these. What are they? She's not real addicted to treats. I can get.
Turkey liver.
You like turkey liver, huh? You want me to get you some turkey liver?
She wags her tail about that one. Okay. When did you, so it's interesting that she did have some nice socialization as a puppy. Going to work is a great way to socialize a dog. Clearly she gets out for walks. So in terms of her people issues, when, if you think back in her 5.5 years, when did you first realize, wow, she's really obnoxious at the front door?
I can't really pinpoint it. I don't remember it being a problem, let's just put it that way, until the last several years.
So let's kind of talk about Lily's issues. She is a classic fearful dog. Classic. All the things that you described, that she's worse when people try to make friends with her, is just classic fearful. And you can think about a shy child in particular. Years ago, my youngest daughter, Olivia, she still is on the shy side. She doesn't like to talk to people she doesn't know. But as a young child, she wouldn't talk to you at all. And I had some workers in my house. And after the second or third day, she was pounding nails with this construction guy. And I was like, wow, like, what's going on? And I stopped to think about it, and he completely ignored her. If she spoke to him, he responded and was polite and nice, but otherwise she was of no consequence to him, and he just went about his business. So just as you described, it was completely on her terms. Mm-hmm. And they were pounding nails together, and he was showing her how to hold a hammer, and it seemed ridiculous that she was befriending this, construction worker. And the problem with shy, fearful dogs is everybody else often, because people will come into your house or they'll see you on the street and they'll say, oh, well, I'm a dog person, or I have dogs, or dogs always love me, or whatever it is. And you really want to strangle them sometimes and say, it's not about you. Mm-hmm. She doesn't like people she doesn't know. So, mm-hmm. And with that becomes a huge issue with big dogs that are fearful, because the bite issue is different, yes. The damage is different, and people that own shy, fearful dogs have to do a lot of education to the people that are coming into their lives or into their home or on the street, just like we've talked about. You've said to me on more than one occasion, I tell people don't bend down to pat her, right? Don't look at her. You were very clear with me. It has to be on her terms. The more you try, the worse she gets. And, I've pretty much ignored Lily since I've come into your house this morning. She barked at me when I first came in and did her little dance, but you can see it's all this back and forth, mm-hmm. back and forth. And she's a classic fearful dog in that if she's going to get you, she's going to sneak up from behind and get you from the backside. Right. So, and as we were turning to leave after taking some footage, I said to Ernie, you need to sort of back out, especially since he's holding the camera. Mm-hmm. It looks like this big eye staring at her. It really brings out the worst, the worst in dogs. But shy, fearful dogs are much more likely to sneak up from behind and bite you in the ankles or whatever they're going to do.
That's interesting, yeah.
So, she probably has some genetic predisposition to being shy, which is why I was asking you about her mm-hmm. sort of parentage. It's highly, the gene for shyness is more on the dominant side than the recessive side. So even if you mm-hmm. breed a shy dog with a very confident dog, some of those dogs are going to be shy, mm-hmm. and some of those dogs are not going to be.
Be interesting to ask her.
Right. One of them was, or maybe a generation back, there was some, but. Or if you had said to me that she had some really scary experiences, somebody scared her in the office, or she'd been stepped on, or, whatever, those mm-hmm. kinds of things will leave a lasting impression with dogs. So the sort of issue now with the shy, fearful dog is evolution dictates, particularly in the animal kingdom, that a scary situation needs to be avoided. Anything that she perceives as a threat will need to be avoided. So when when I walked Thor and Vesta towards you, she interestingly was more worried about Thor, the yellow lab, than my terrier. And I thought it was going to be the reverse, because the yellow lab tends to be very benign. He's generally, I've rarely had a dog perceive him as a threat, but my guess is she didn't like his size because he was bigger than she was. And he was pretty much dragging me to you. He was more interested in seeing you than her, but she doesn't. she doesn't know that. Right.
Right. She probably wouldn't like it if she did know
Right. Right. And so we saw a lot of her body weight was back. You know, this kind of, I want to sniff you, but I'm gonna stay in the backward position in case I need to flee. And again, meeting the right dogs, some calm dogs, some dogs that are very good socially, that won't be a threat to her. She may befriend them, but she's not going to befriend everybody. And that's that evolution again that I started to talk about. Tells the dogs that if we think this dog is scary, the fearful dog will generalize that to all dogs. That all dogs become potential threats. She can't. Her evolution, her desire to sort of pass on her genetic code is not going to allow her the opportunity to say, oh, well, this one seems to be okay, or this one doesn't. It's everybody. So that generalization happens very quickly. And in humans, we can rationalize and we can think and process things much differently than dogs can. So if I go to a restaurant and I have a horrible experience or whatever it is, I'll know to avoid that restaurant. But all the other restaurants I've had good experiences with are still okay. But if I were in the dog or animal world, all restaurants would be bad, and they'd have to go somewhere else for their food source. They wouldn't risk that scary thing. So it's important to know, being the owner of a shy, fearful dog, that it's really going to be your job to keep her as safe and as positive as possible so she doesn't generalize every scary situation she has. Now, we've talked about the Karen Terrier in the neighborhood that she is just ballistic over. and Terrier versus Dachshund, you know, you've got two hunting breeds, very fearful dog. I'm familiar with the Karen Terrier, so she's got a little fear issue going on. So neither of them are going to take the chance that it's going to be okay. You know, at this point, I would just avoid that situation, or we can work with some. If she'll take some food, which she may not, when she's in that heightened state of fear and arousal, a lot of things shut down, and the desire to eat can often shut down as well. So.
She's not a big treat eater anyway.
Right.
So
although she liked my liver.
Yeah, she did. Well,
she liked that turkey liver.
We're going to have to get her some of that.
Just poking along.
Look, she's even up there looking.
And some dogs.
Isn't that interesting?
Some dogs don't want to work for the food.
Okay.
But if she could stick her nose in there and eat, she'd probably eat everything I have. But if I require her to work for it, she's like, no, I don't think I can do that. Let's see if you like this. Oh yeah, that's liverwurst.
Oh my, Lil. Now she does like, cold cuts and things. If I gave her like deli food and things like that.
Sit.
But it's the
Sit. She have any commands?
No, I said nothing.
No, you weren't kidding, right? Well, and that's not atypical. Small dogs often are not taught things because they're small.
And because
they're not in the way.
They're not in the way,
Right.
And they're not out of control.
And who cares if they jump on you or they jump on the couch? It's not like the 80-pound dog that's jumping on you. Come over here.
And the thing of it is, it's just me and her, you know, and
Correct.
then the cat.
Right.
So it's not like we have a lot of other people living here that may become annoyed with her.
Right.
Because, I come home at night, I sit down, I read the paper, watch the news, and she gets up, I sit in that chair, and she gets up on my shoulder and just sits there and looks out the window, and I read the paper
Uses you as a
like
prop.
a parrot.
Right. She's using you a little bit as a prop. Okay. What's interesting is that, you know, I asked, does she have any behaviors? Well, she hasn't been taught to sit on command or lie down on command or come on command. But she has a lot of behaviors, right? The whining at the bed is a behavior. And in her mind, I have to whine when we're upstairs in the bedroom in order to get on the bed. So that is a behavior that she has.
And we don't address that.
Right. So, and any behavior that's reinforced from her perspective is a behavior that will continue.
Okay.
So you reinforce that behavior every day when you put her back up on the bed when she's whining or crying.
Now she whines a lot when she's not, when she wants something or this or that, and I find it annoying. She reminds me of a kid, and she can be very, I don't know, wanting a lot of attention a lot of the time, and she'll whine, and she'll follow me around, and she'll whine and whine and whine, and I stop that whining, stop that whining.
Right.
But what should I be doing about that? Just ignoring her when she's doing that and not responding in any way, or?
That's an option, absolutely. Does she have a signal to go outside, and what is it?
No, she does not have a signal.
Okay.
We go out in the morning, and we go out in the evening, and we go out before she goes to bed at night.
Okay.
And I get the leash, and she, and it's
Okay.
at my discretion, so to speak.
Okay. Okay, so I just wondered if the whining was, I've got to go to the bathroom, I got to go to the
No.
bathroom. No. Okay.
I wish she would. I'd be happy to oblige her.
And when, can you give me an example of other times that she whines when you come home from work? Is she whining out of excitement?
Well, first of all, when I come from work, she knows, she can hear the car and so on and so forth. And she is at the door, and she is having, a field day, and she's
Very
jumping
cute.
up and down and
Right.
and she wants me to lean down. She likes to, kiss me,
Yes.
so to speak, and all that kind of stuff.
And
right?
dogs greet other pack members, other members of their community, by licking or touching their face. So you could wait until she's calm and then
Okay.
allow that.
Uh-huh.
So you could come in and just ignore her, and she'll be shocked.
Yeah, she would.
And you might get some escalation of the hyper behavior, because for 5.5 years that's how she's greeted you, and that's what's worked for her. So just remember, if you're going to change, right, in order to change her behavior, your behavior has to change first. So if you wanted that to stop, you would ignore her until she was calm. And then I would actually probably time it, because the first time you're going to feel like it's days, but then the second time will be less, she'll be excited for a shorter period of time until she's containing herself in some fashion, and then you can go right down and pick her up. But if it doesn't bother you, I just wanted to
It
explain
doesn't really bother me when we come in. It bothers me when she follows me around the house, not right when I come home, but for whatever reason.
Is it around feeding time?
Not
Is she
really.
fed on a schedule?
I've often wondered, what is it that you want? Because I can't think.
Right.
It's like not at food time, and we might have just been out. It's like a neuroses,
Okay.
she's just wants attention,
Right,
wants the
right.
attention.
So the best, it depends. There's people in the world that can ignore whining and barking, and there's people that it drives them crazy. Do you feel like you're a drives me crazy person?
I will tolerate it if I have to, if
Okay.
that will change her behavior. But no, it does drive me crazy.
Okay, so it'll be harder for you to ignore it. Look at her. Are you talking about me?
And are you telling her? Is she telling you something I don't want you to know?
Right. She's like, this lady knows stuff. I don't think I like her here.
She's telling you stuff, isn't she? She's looking at you now.
Yes, is there more liverwurst? In terms of the resource guarding of you and her, again, I think she should have a leash on. And she's just so classic little dog. It's funny that she's making so many decisions.
Yes, she is. She's
Right?
running the house, right?
Yeah, yeah. She decides that she's going to get on the couch and sit on your shoulder. That wasn't a decision you made.
No,
that
I
was
didn't.
a decision she made.
I was wondering
She
what-
decides when the cat can come up and when the
Yeah,
cat
she
can't. She decides on the bed when the cat. She decides when she wants to get on the bed by whining at you. And she says, "Hey, I want to come up now. I want to come down." And being human and not being able to tolerate a lot of whining. Oh God, I gotta stop the whining. So up on the bed you go, which is all fine. It's just classic. She's fearful. She doesn't have a lot of confidence, and yet she's allowed to make all these choices around the house. So,
Think she's spoiled?
yeah, a little bit. Not, and I've got a little dog. You met Vesta. She sleeps with me under the covers every night. She gets to sleep on the couch if I'm sitting on the couch. I like to have her come up. I don't want the yellow lab on the couch. I don't want him on the bed unless it's really cold out. But it's a little more my choice than her choice.
Mm-hmm.
And besides her being a terrier, I don't have any big issues with her.
Mm-hmm.
She sits for her food. She'll lie down when I ask. She has very basic commands, Vesta. And Lily has behaviors that she has learned work for her, but she has nothing that's taught to her.
Yep.
So I'm gonna work with her a little bit. I am in a few minutes. I'm gonna get up. I'm just gonna walk across the floor because she tends to be a little reactive when people start to move. So when the guy behind the camera moves a little bit, she's been growling at him. Let me just first give you a little bit more information. So if you want a behavior to continue to happen, then we need to reinforce it from her perspective. Not yours, but from hers. So she whines, you pick her up. If that's what she wanted, that behavior, whining, was reinforced. You'll get more whining. So why she's whining around the house, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but clearly there's probably something that she wants. That because and she's going to try the whining because it works in so many other places for her. Okay. Everything in a dog's life is about come closer. I want to see you. I want to play with you. I want, Goldens or other dogs are very what I call soft and wiggly, and they wiggle up to people and they really draw people in. Oh, honey, let me see you, pookie, pookie, right? Because their whole body language is very inviting, and dogs do that to other dogs as well. Or there is, don't come any closer. I would really prefer you to stay back. So it's all about come closer or stay back. She's all about stay away from me. And she's a little conflicted when people come in the house. It's her house, and there's this forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. That's all a lot of conflict. It would be much better if she went, holy crap, pshoo, and ran away
off.
and hid under the couch. That'd be much better. Oh, Lily's under the couch. Good, there she is. People can come in and out. But now we've got this sort of chaos situation. So that's not going to be an easy behavior to change. One, because she's been doing it for 5.5 years, and two, because it's based out of fear. So it serves a purpose of her being safe. She always wants to be safe. When she meets other dogs, she has a history with the greyhound. She can walk right along with the greyhound, no issues. When she met Thor and Vesta, interestingly, she wasn't so sure about Thor. And once she kind of barked and snapped at him a little bit, Thor was not going to approach her again. I got the message, you don't want to meet me. And his evolutionary process kicks in. That's not a safe dog, so I'm going to go over here and avoid her. So he was doing a lot of avoiding. Fearful dogs also do a lot of sniffing from behind. So they're not going to meet the dog head to head. They're going to wait until the dog turns around and sniffs her. Same thing with people. She might be inclined if we're in a calm situation like this. She's come up to my side. Has presented in the front of me because I've given her some liverwurst and other things that she's like. But initially, I wasn't going to turn my back to her, and she was also sort of dancing around and not really sure what's happening. So when Ernie moves behind the camera, she's growling at him, which is the yellow light, a warning. Don't come any closer to me. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're here. Stay there, stay there. So, I like dogs that growl because she's communicating to us, I'm not comfortable. I need more distance. With the Cairn Terrier, I kind of like the fact that you use the flexi. Generally, I don't like flexi leads, but what I noticed when she was approaching Thor and Vesta is that on the flexi lead, she got to make more choices about how far out she wanted to go, and then if she needed to retreat and come away from the dogs, where oftentimes on a 6 or 8 foot leash, the dog is restrained too much. And once you restrain a fearful dog and she doesn't feel like she has choices, she's much more likely to accelerate to even more, rah, 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 get away, get away, get away, because that's what she wants. She wants distance from that thing. And to her, people she doesn't know and dogs she's not sure of are equal to spiders to me, right? I don't like spiders. So am I going to feel better if I see a big spider crawling across the floor coming at me? No, I'll probably get up and move. I might scream at Ernie, step on it, do something, but get the thing to stop because it's scary to me. And I want to increase my distance from it, and I'm going to vocalize something, right? Same thing with her. She wants to increase her distance, and she's growling and barking and warning, stay away, stay away. Dogs, I don't like other dogs, and I'm certainly not so sure about other people, okay? So And again, it's not nearly the problem because she's, what, 20 pounds or 25 pounds?
25,
Right,
I'd
so she's
say,
a
yeah.
small dog. So my question to you is going to be let's pick a behavior, how badly do you want it to change? Because you're going to have to change how you do things before she's going to change how she does things.
Okay. I'd like her not to be so fearful, but as you say, that's not
That's-
a little thing.
No, it's not, and it's genetic. So we can help build her confidence by teaching her some things.
Okay.
So she has an alternative behavior to do. Oh, it would be if I were to come to your house for a social event, right? Even though I've met you once, I wouldn't be completely comfortable, right? But if you said to me, Denise, could you pass out these appetizers? I can do that. So even though I'm uncomfortable, I could pass out appetizers and it would help me feel better in that environment. Okay. If you said to me, Denise, could you go in my kitchen and make drinks or make a dip recipe or something like that, I would not be comfortable doing any of those things. I'm not familiar with your kitchen. I don't know how to mix drinks. You know, there'd be a whole bunch of things. Oh, it would add to my anxiety. Okay. So if we can teach her basic things, sit down, and I would teach her a leave it, because that will help you with the cat. That could help you with the dogs walking as long as her proximity is far enough away that we can engage her brain.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if she gets too close, she's too excited to even hear you.
If you bring that spider right up here, I can't concentrate on anything. I can't hear what you're saying. I couldn't hear what Ernie's saying. I couldn't even pay attention to the dog. My entire focus would be get that spider away from me. But if the spider's over there, and I'm pretty confident that it's going to stay over there, then I can pay attention to what you're saying to me. And it's the same thing with her.
That's
So
interesting, yeah.
if the dog is too close to her, I don't care what we've taught her, chances are she's not going to be able to do anything because the scary thing is too threatening. Okay, so she'll need some distance from that. So if she can learn to sit on command, you could have her in the kitchen, and we do practice sessions, have her in the kitchen, she's going to sit in the kitchen, and you're going to feed her and pay her
For
sitting in the kitchen while people come in. So we've increased her distance, and we've given her something else to do that she has a history of doing. She has no history of doing that right now, so she's left completely to her own devices. And dogs are dogs. They're not the same species we are. They learn in the same way we do, but we have the ability to rationalize and be spoken to and coerced if you want, or just give it a try. And dogs aren't like that. So we have to make sure that it's safe for her and it's worth her while. Right now, a fearful, shy dog like Lily spends way too much time in what I call lizard brain, which is like the brain stem, where she's just reacting, sniffing, barking, reacting, sniffing, barking, sleeping, reacting, sniffing, barking. Whereas a dog like Thor, if we put Lily away and we brought him in, once he kind of investigated the surroundings, he would be on. What can I do for you, Denise? Oh, you want me to lie down? Great, I'll lay down. Sit. He'd roll over. He'd go through all of his tricks. He's got a whole repertoire of behaviors, and he would be on and be able to do those things. And then if I released him or I wasn't working with him, then he'd go back to sniffing and kind of being a dog back in that lizard brain. But she's living there too much.
Too much lizard brain, Lil.
Too much lizard brain. So I'm going to see if we can get her, and it's not going to be easy. We're going to try to get her into a sit today. I highly doubt we're going to be able to lure her into a down just because she's never worked for anything.
Not only that, yeah, she doesn't even know what it is. So.
Right. So it's, if my 14-year-old daughter suddenly said, can I have $20 to, do whatever? And I said, you know what? I really don't want to keep giving you free money. I'd like you to clean the bathroom before. What? Right, if she's never had to work for money, and boom, all of a sudden I change the rules like that, yeah, she's going to keep trying the old way. Well, come on, Mom, just this once, can you give me $20? We're getting ready to go out. No, I really want you to clean the bathroom this time. Come on, you've always done it. Right, we're going to escalate. In the human world, we'll probably escalate a little bit, and as long as I'm firm and consistent, she'll either give up and walk away without the $20. She might negotiate to clean the bathroom another time, being human, or she'll go and clean the bathroom real quick for the $20. So Lily here is going to work very hard at doing nothing, because nothing or whining because that's what's gotten her things in the past, is doing nothing. Or just whining, or just being cute old Lily. Huh, Lily?
You're something else. I'm learning all kinds of things.
So these are a little frozen. Let's see if you like this. So what I like about little dogs is I don't need a whole bunch of treats. See how she's stretched
Yep,
in the back?
I see that.
She's not really
I
sure.
didn't even really notice. I mean, I noticed it when you pointed it out, but
Yep. So dachshunds can sit. I'm going to let her lick and nibble while I tip her head up. And my goal is, I'm not going to make a lot of eye contact with her, so every once in a while she's going to look at me, and I'm going to look away, either with my head or my eyes. Looking away is the way dogs communicate. It happens very quickly and subtly. We don't even think it's anything. And I'm sure if we look back at the tape of her and Thor, we'd see Thor look away. And you even said that. I meant to point it out, when somebody tries to make friends with her, she turns her head away. We interpret it as, oh, I'm not going to be friends with you. But really, in the dog world, it's called an appeasement signal or a cutoff signal. She perceives a person as a threat, and by turning her head away, she's communicating to them, I'm not a threat. But humans being the way we are, we keep trying to greet the dog, and the dog's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then they often escalate to barking, growling, or biting. So anyway, we're going to keep her head coming up. And so she looks at me, I look away. I'm just looking away with my eyes. But it's not lost on her. She checks me out again. So when she's not looking at me, I can look at her. But as soon as she looks directly at me, I avert my eyes, which will help her. And the goal is to get her off balance enough to sit, right? But she's still worried about me, right? And her whole body weight position was weird, and I may not be able to get up high enough. But I want her to, so she's leaning back. See how she's leaning back a little bit?
oh,
Good girl. And she gets the whole
girl.
She gets the whole thing.
How interesting.
Okay. Good girl. Oh, she's going to stay there. I'm going to give you another piece for staying in the sit. So I don't say anything yet to her. It doesn't do any good to say, sit, sit, sit. It would be like me saying to you, Ramba, Ramba, come on, Lois, Ramba. You're like, what the hell is she talking about? I don't know what she's talking about. It doesn't mean anything to you. But if I kind of put you in a couple positions, or I lure you with $100 and say it's 2 steps to the left and 2 steps to the right, then you'll understand a little bit more. So this is hot dog. Oh, wow, that was slippery. You got the whole thing before we did anything. That was cheating, Lily. That was cheating. All right. Oh, so now she's a little more relaxed. She came forward. And I'm watching her hind end. I don't need to watch her head because I know where it is. I let her have it. Good girl.
Oh, yeah. Very interesting.
So I'll do one more and
Now,
then I'm going to have you do it.
Does she learn to identify that with sit?
She will. Right now, this is actually going to become your hand signal for sit.
Oh.
And that's just because that's how I'm holding the treat. We can change that. When I work with a dog like Lily that doesn't have a lot of learning experience, like normally my hand signal would be this, good girl. Well, she did that. So now I'm going to lure her out of the sit and back in. Very good. So she got that pretty quick, right? She's working with me, who she doesn't really know. She just knows that I'm the Pez dispenser of delicious stuff.
She's got the best food, Mom.
And
Get her list.
so she is treat motivated. Your experience might have been she might have been at too high a state of arousal to eat the treats. So
Or she doesn't like, these are nice, these are people food type treats.
Yes.
The treats that she's not terribly interested in are dog food type treats.
Oh yeah, forget that, especially with her fear. So now I'm going to try to get her into the down. So she's licking and nibbling this piece of cheese, and I'm dragging my hand across the floor. So see how she's, oh, very good. She moved this foot out. Sorry, no, all my finger pointing is not helping you feel very secure. So I'm going to ask her to elongate her body. And in order to do that, her choices are stand up or lie down. If she stands up, all the food will go away pretty dramatically. I'm just going to pull my hand away. See how she's stretching? Stretching. She has to be able to lick and nibble at this food until she understands what we want.
I see.
Right? It's not fair to take one little piece and I only give it to her when I get the behavior I want.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what the behavior is.
But she wouldn't be elongating like that and coming
No,
toward lying
no.
down if
Yep. And we as humans
she wouldn't
tend to
even be paying attention to you for all that long.
correct. Good observation. So let's try it. It's frozen, so it's a little bit harder for her to nibble. But you can still. So we'll pull her out. Let's switch it. And I want to be sure that I have enough food in my hand so when she actually does the behavior, I can give her a big reinforcement. This is not, oh, there's a freebie, honey. This is not going to make her a beggar. Hang on. Let's try the liverwurst again.
This is the best company we've had in a long time.
It's a little uncomfortable. Sorry, I laughed too loud. So I need her to come just a little bit closer to me. So she's just decided, I'm not so sure anymore. And that's pretty typical. Like, you may not be able to identify it. Good girl.
Very good, Lil.
So we as humans also tend to be stingy. If you notice, I gave her a fair amount of liverwurst for that. The down is going to be easier from the sit.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, so she's going to try jumping because that works. Try jumping again. If you just put your butt down, there you go. So I'll give her a piece for that. And now her head comes down.
Pretty soon she'll know it's the down butt that gets her the...
It's going to take a few repetitions. I would say, well, I'm going to have you do it. I thought maybe I could get her. She's not going to. So the down, for her, she has to elongate towards me. So that's going to be a problem for her. She's okay being out there, but see, she's like, this little rug is almost acting. She's been on the rug, but then she backs off the rug and stays away. She's got this sort of distance that she's comfortable being with me, but she doesn't want to go too much further than that. So I'm going to give this blob of stuff to you. She doesn't need all of this for the sit, but I do want you to lure her into the sit, whichever hand you want to use.
Mom's going to try. No.
Oh, good. Right away.
Good. Good, good,
Right,
good.
so now let's have you do the down because she may do the down much easier for you than for me. Right down to the floor. You're going to have to put your hand right on the floor. Yep, and now, ask her for the sit again. See how she's standing? So just lure her into the sit. She can have a little piece.
Good girl.
Good.
Yes.
Now, you really want to take the treats on her nose and take her head between her front feet and then let her lick the treat and very slowly bring them to you.
I'm going to
That
have
makes
to
sense?
learn this is...
Yes, right there. And let her lick that. And slowly, bring it back to her so she can try again. Yep, slowly. Ooh, see how she's so long, but she will not move her foot yet. And stop. Good. So when you see her stand up, just stop. Do you need more food?
Yeah. It's getting the best of me.
Let's see. This one's pretty soft. So again, let her just lick and nibble at that too.
Okay. Now, we got to go.
From the sit. So bring your hand up. Yes, good. She
Good
got a little
girl.
piece. Good. And then straight down between her.
She's either going to get it or I am. Okay.
Yep. And slowly. Yep, bring it back to her. Good, Lois. Bring it back to her. Yep. And slowly bring it out. Let her lick. There goes one foot. She's going to make the choice and stop. Stop. Yep. So what she's learning is, every time I stand up, the food goes away. So she still has to figure out what else she has to do. Good. Let me give you another piece.
Okay. Put the soft stuff on the outside. Okay. Now, there. Look.
Good.
No, she says, I know where the big
Right
one
on the,
is.
Yep. Put it right on the floor and start pulling it. Hold on to it.
Come on. Come on, sweetie.
Yep, just let her lick it and bring it. Pull it out slowly. Pull it out a little bit more. Yep, a little bit more. Go ahead and bring it back to her. Yep, and then pull it out slowly again. And, yep, keep coming out. Good. It took my Boston Terrier 5 days
Really?
to learn. She's going to get it much faster than that because she's so squinched down. Her elbows are almost on the floor.
Yeah.
Geez.
She's so close to the floor to start out with.
Right.
Shouldn't be too hard.
There you go. Keep coming back. Keep coming out a little bit. Yep. Keep stretching it out. I'm going to warm this up, Lily. Good, 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 good. Oh, stop. She stood up. Don't give it to her. Don't give it to her. Yep. Here, and take another piece. We'll try one more time, and then we'll...
There you go. Now.
And straight down between her front. Yes. And stop. Good, Lois. Very good.
Good.
So it's good to make that. Don't give her that whole piece.
No, just a little.
Good. And
I have to think too much.
you're going to be tired. You're both going to be tired. Wow. Training is hard.
And we're not even moving hard.
That's right, but you're both having to think. Good. Oh,
Come on.
see, so she gets to a certain point, then she just gives
She
up and
stops.
Yep, that's all right though.
Okay,
Let her
come
figure
on.
it out. Yep, slowly. Oh, she's so slow. She's so close. Let her have a piece for that, and a little piece for that. That's all right. She can have it. Good. All right, we'll give that a rest. So I would like to see you get some deli ends. I just get them at Hannaford's. You can get them anywhere. Cut them up into, you saw the pieces I had, and really work on luring her into that down. You can do it when she's sitting on the couch. You can do it on the floor. Do it upstairs. And the trick is, once she readily, it's called being fluid, boom, she lures into it. Then you'll lure her into the down, and she'll get the reinforcement in that behavior, in the down.
Okay.
Okay, but right now, while she's learning, she needs to lick and eat that treat the
Have it all
whole
the
way
way
down.
so to pull her.
Correct. Correct.
Now, as far as saying, when I say, now you said this is
That will become the hand signal.
hand signal, will mean, how's she going to tell which is down and sit? Because we're
Sit's going to be this.
Sit's going to be
because your
this.
hand naturally
Okay.
kind of comes over her head, and then
Okay.
the down will be this way.
down. Okay.
When she's fluid, so when you move your hand this way and she does sit, then you can just label it for her. Sit.
Sit.
And then give her a treat. Okay. It's not a command. It's going to be a label.
Okay.
And the label will be followed by a big payment for her.
Okay.
Because that's how we're going to reinforce that behavior, right? When she whines and gets on the bed, wow, that's probably a jackpot for her because it's what she wanted. So that's what she gets. The whining works. So don't be stingy and give her one tiny piece.
Yeah.
Thor can have one tiny piece or nothing. He's 12. He's been learning his entire life. We need to say, this is what I want. Think about at work, oh, Lois, that was such a great job. Good job. Or, Lois, you did such a great job. Here's $500 for that. All right? What do you want? You want the money? All right, right?
Or the praise.
Praise is good, and there's a place for it, but when we're teaching new behaviors, dogs want the money.
Okay.
Unless she's not food motivated, but she is.
But she is.
She is. Okay.
Even-
So basics first. We have to learn to crawl, and then walk, and then run. So she needs to learn to sit and to lie down. That's going to be the crawling. The walking will be to start to take those behaviors outside.
Okay.
So in the very, very stimulating and distracting environment, she can learn to do that. And then running, in my opinion, would be that she can do some of those behaviors and be calm about it when you have people coming in.
Okay.
But that's, that's down the road. There's no quick fixes for anything. So what I am going to do is zip up my bag. I'm just going to get up and walk across the floor.
She said, no, just leave it open.
I know, right? I know, that would be great for you, huh? And I did a little cleaning out of my...
Dan, do you want me
freezer.
to move so you
Nope.
can...
No, I just want to see if she's going to react at all.
Oh, okay.
She probably should have done it early on. She may not have. Good girl. Sit. So she did. Did you see her go after my foot?
She did.
Oh, yeah. She
Yeah.
went after my...
Why did she do that?
I moved too fast.
Oh. And she doesn't know you well enough.
No. Just, sitting in a chair calmly and working with a dog does not friends we make. Right? So now what I'm doing, I'm going to do a little bit more, is This is classical conditioning. I talked about this a little bit at the canine casting call. Dogs also learn by forming associations. If I came enough times and ignored her and provided her with high payments, she would make a positive association with me. She's not done that. I've only been here a little time. So as I walk across the room, I have to walk past her and into her space almost. So I'm going to make an association for her by walking and dropping food for her. And since she is food motivated, I'm making the association that at least when Denise gets up,
There's fun.
right, I'm getting payments for that. Okay? And if I see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of fast motion and hardly any noise.
But she did a little.
Yes. She came out after me. So I dropped a few more treats.
So you're now getting her to appreciate your presence.
That's one way to put it. Yes. I am trying to make an association that with my quick movements, she will get paid. So when it's really working, she would look forward to me getting up because there would be an expectation or an anticipation, when she gets up, I get paid, right? But right now, after 5.5 years and being as fearful as she is, there is no the only anticipation she has is run for your life, which she's not going to do in her own home, so she's going to come at me instead of doing that.
She's got, oh my. Isn't that interesting? Well, see, nobody strange has done that to her.
Nobody's strange. I'm strange, all right. Yeah, I know. So that's what we call she's over threshold, right? And I've laughed and I've talked a little louder and my feet keep moving quick, so there's too many things going on for
overstimulation.
Right. So I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to step and get back to my chair.
This is
and we're not
interesting.
reinforcing her bad behavior, right? And that's people have the hardest time with classical conditioning because they feel like we're paying her for her ill behavior, and we're not. We're making the association, and for her, it's going to take some time because it's just that fear. It's just that fear. She's not what I would call too anxious, but her biggest issue is that fear. Lois, do you have any questions before we wrap up?
Probably lots, but none that come to mind immediately. I work with her on the sit and the down and see if I can get her to do that. It's going to be as much of a training experience for me as it is for her, trying to remember how to do it correctly and at the same time.
So that's all I would do.
Yeah.
It's just the sits and the downs.
Yeah.
Just do that. And then, we can't do division until we understand numbers and addition. So same thing. Okay?
Yeah.
And you're going to do a leash on her to
in bed.
To abruptly get her off the bed if she's being nasty to the cat.
Okay, but that would mean leaving the leash on her while because she may be asleep, the cat jumps up, he goes after her. I won't be able to put the leash on her and get her.
She can just drag the leash up the stairs with you. If she gets on the couch with you, in time, I would ask you to ask her to sit before she gets on the couch with you. But if she's going to get on the couch with you, she should have the leash on so that if she starts to get nasty to the cat, boom, off she goes.
Yep.
Guess what? She's going to be shocked.
Yeah.
You're going to call me and say, you should have seen her face, Denise, when I took her off. She was like, what? I've been able to do this and control everything.
Because I do a lot of, be nice, Lily, be nice kind of thing.
She's blah, 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 blah. She doesn't understand it.
But she does kind of calm herself a little bit when I start with that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the tone of your voice, but she doesn't understand the words.
No.
So the tone, if you're getting deeper and growly, or mom's getting kind of, she might need to make a behavior change for that. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Doggy Dilemmas. I look forward to seeing you next week.
If you have a doggy dilemma, Denise can help. Visit www.denisemazzola.com for more information. Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer tested through the Association of Pet Dog Trainers. The association requires recertification every 3 years with a minimum of 30 hours of continuing education. She has been training dogs and working with families for over 20 years.